I'm mad because you are actively engaging with these people on social media, in DMs, while this harassment is happening. In a sense, I felt like you were more on their side than my side.
Ethan Klein just exposed iDubbbz days after he released a Content Cop episode on his old friend, and it looks like the backlash against Ian might get even worse now. This wasn't the first time Ethan had discussed the situation. After all, he and Hila initially reacted to the video on the H3 podcast on the 18th of April, debunking all the allegations Ian raised against them and providing some context to the story. But later, on April 21st, Ethan released a much shorter video titled My Response to iDubbbz's Content Cop, in which he laid out some of the most important points to solidify his defense. But before we go on, how about you click that subscribe button? We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers before the end of 2025, so why not click that button and join the community? Now let's get back to the video. Ethan started the video by talking about how Child Protective Services suddenly showed up at his house one day while accusing Ian of never mentioning the case throughout his video. For context, on March 7th, Ethan revealed during the H3 podcast that someone actually made an anonymous call to the CPS, claiming that their house was a mess, that there was allegedly dog shit everywhere, and that Sonny, their 1-year-old son, was eating shit and getting giardia. Apparently, the person who made the report claimed that they worked at the house, although that was never confirmed.
Ian spends the majority of his video characterizing me like a raving lunatic who's lashing out at everyone around me with zero provocation.
Ethan then talked about how Ian failed to provide any proper context in his Content Cop video, even though he majorly used clips from the same H3 episode in question. According to Ethan, instead of explaining why he was obviously angry and emotional during the podcast, Ian painted him as a mentally unstable person, despite the fact that he was actually provoked by other people harassing him.
Not only does he not show the title, he doesn't explain why I'm upset, who I'm mad at, why I'm mad at them. Zero context. I am just an anonymous, screaming lunatic.
When I watched Ian's Content Cop video, the vibe that I got was that iDubbbz believed Ethan was mad at him and Anissa because they were following the same people who were harassing his family on Twitter. And although I have no skin in the game, it seems pretty weird to be mad at someone for following another person on social media just because you have issues with the other person. Ethan agrees with this as well.
I'm not upset, Ian, because you follow people. That is absurd.
However, he also explained that the reason he was mad at Ian and Anissa wasn't because they were passively following Froggy Tonic and Anissa on Twitter, but because they were actively supporting these same creators who said this about his kids just 3 days before the CPS situation started.
How is it that, like, maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. This is where Ethan tells a story about his family getting giardia.
We already have mold Mondays. Now we have shit Saturdays.
Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get.
Apparently, even after the CPS was called, Denims tried to downplay and justify it by claiming that children cannot be traumatized.
I don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him,
create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old.
Ethan then talked about Bad Empanada's harassment campaign against him, especially the fact that he posted a story admitting that he was the one who called the cops on Ethan, saying, "I want CPS to take his kids away because they are in serious danger." The Bad Empanada story is a whole different rabbit hole that I can't really get into in this video, but he and Ethan seem to have a very strong beef that may not be ending anytime soon. Moving on from the Bad Empanadas case, Ethan then talked about how Froggy Tonic also pushed the false rumor that his kids were in danger just days before the CPS came to his home. And although Ian did talk about Froggy Tonic in the Content Cop video, he never mentioned his role in the CPS situation at all.
Me, when my 3 kids ask me why they haven't seen me in the past 4 months, I was in my basement. How can you shun a fallen fan when they worry about their 3 kids when they can't be bothered to protect their dogs? Ethan was neglectful with his dogs, he's already been neglectful with his kids, and he will continue to be. As a child of a neglectful, bipolar, narcissistic dad, that's precisely why I worry about Ethan's kids.
Ethan also called Ian out for weaponizing his mental health issues, which he apparently discussed with him while they were friends, to try and tarnish his reputation by making him look like a lunatic who was just harassing other people for no reason at all. However, the biggest revelation in the video would be when Ethan stated that while he was dealing with the whole CPS thing, he and his wife received 2 human skulls in their mail, which obviously scarred them and earned them a visit from the FBI. Bad Empanada doesn't seem to believe this story though, as he responded with a community post on his channel, accusing Ethan of buying novelty human skulls, claiming that someone else sent them to him as a threat, and posting pictures of them with the tags from the store he bought them from, still plainly visible. The video ended with Ethan telling Ian, who he describes as his friend of 8 years, to have fun with his new friends. However, the drama didn't end there, because days later, Ethan posted another video reacting to a group picture featuring everyone in the Content Cop video, where Ian could be seen holding what looked like a sword with a Nazi sign on the handle. Of course, many people have explained the symbol is actually a Buddhist symbol and not a Nazi sign, and that the sword is from an anime, but Ethan doesn't seem to agree. Brogan also released a response video to Ethan, claiming that Ian actually dropped the video out of empathy, and that the entire goal of the Content Cop was to make people feel bad for Ethan, all while trying to hold a friend accountable. However, the comments section seemed to disagree with Frogan, with comments like, "I didn't know flipping someone off and dogpiling a creator was an act of empathy," referencing the skit iDubbbz added at the start of the Content Cop episode, as well as another comment which stated, "It's the most insulting form of empathy. Ian's empathy is making Ethan out to be some unhinged mental case, having a breakdown that is in need of therapy. Ian makes you feel bad for Ethan by portraying him as out of his right mind." Anyway, that's it for today. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're here for the first time, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss my new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.